Good morning. Good morning. It's afternoon. It's the 15th of July. Yes, I'm still wearing the same thing as yesterday. Technically the same thing as Monday night. I need to take a shower. Okay. Quick thought. Hopefully it will go quickly. How do you get rid of an altar? All right, hold on. How do you deal with an altar who does not want the same relationship as you? You heard me the other night, right? I'm sure I remember saying something like this. Even though I don't feel that way right now, I must be a different noodle right now than I was before. And even though we're all co-conscious and whatever we are, whatever's going on in this brain, I cannot explain it, but this is the best way I can explain it, is there must be different noodles up there. There must be. Okay, think. The other day I said that I don't want to be with him. I said I didn't want to be with him. I said I didn't want to be with him. I don't want to be with him. I don't want to be with a man. Huh? What did I say? What did I say? I said, what did I say? Come on. I said something like that. Don't ask me to remember that. That's not me. That wasn't what I was thinking. What do I feel? Can I just talk about how I feel? We're talking about buying property. We're talking about when he worked at the school and how he was kicked at and spit at and screamed at, and kids would throw chairs and curse at him. And they weren't normal kids. They were kids with like trauma and issues and behavioral things and foster kids, and like they were last chance kids. And all kids deserve love, no matter what kind of behavior they're giving people. They're not born evil, right? He was talking about that. He was talking about that just now. And I feel like he was trying to say that he has to have a short memory. I keep getting interrupted. I don't want to shut my children out. This noodle needs to talk, and this noodle doesn't want the children to interrupt, so I'm gonna lock my door. I'm okay. Go back to the other noodle. Go back. Where was I at? We're talking about property. We're talking about buying property up in Utah and being invested into this property, land, and everything. What are you talking about? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you buy property with a man who doesn't provide you safety? Sorry, y'all. We're working. And when we're working, we can't have emotions. When we're working, we just gotta be good. We gotta be good at our jobs. It's not fake, it's just emotionless. It's not cold, it's just flat. We can be cheerful, we can be positive, we can be friendly, we can be concerned, we can be passionate about our jobs. But we don't need to bring in emotion, and especially Crystal's emotional dysregulation, into the whole mix, okay? So, why am I acting so crazy right now? If you haven't noticed, I have acted crazy for many of years. Many of opportunities I have taken to show you the crazy. Now, I'm not doing anything on purpose. I'm not malingering or looking for attention or something to that effect. I'm just embracing it now. I'm just embracing all the different thoughts that have gone through my mind. And if I was to go and look at old videos, I could say that's when I switched, or that's when that thought came through, or that's when that noodle happened. And even if it's not per se an OSDD or d.i.d thing, maybe it's just a tulpa, Tulpa. I was researching that last night. And as I was researching it, it was very fascinating to me, because if you spend a lot of time by yourself, talking to yourself, you can develop tulpas in an imaginative way, kind of like creating a character, whether it be for a role-playing game or for a story you're writing, or just as an imaginary friend in your head. And they can have personalities and traits and opinions that are all on their own different, and they come from a different perspective. It's a tulpa guides if you want to look at it up on YouTube, but it's a fascinating, it's a fascinating concept. The thing that they said was that switches only happen when you give permission for them to happen, when you intentionally say, I'm going to switch into the tulpa. And I think I did that for my tulpa Kathy. Kathy is my fictive meaning my fictional altar, my fictional tulpa that I created. I intentionally created her, and I intentionally bring her out sometimes. And when I talk about Kathy being the compliant one in this marriage and the one that kept Jim married, oh flip. When Jim and I got married, I would say recently that it was Kathy that he married, not Crystal. I would say that because the person or the noodle or the feeling I had at that time really believed it. I wasn't lying. I really believed that he married Kathy and not me. But if I'm honest, I only bring Kathy out as a fictive altar, a fictive tulpa, and it is very intentional when I do it, and it is very spiteful when I do it. I know I'm doing it. I know when I bring her out. Now, as far as the crystal that he married, I do think that is a true altar. I think that is a true OSD thing. Personality, part of me. No idea what I was saying before. was a different noodle then, and then I had to switch to the work noodle. Who the heck is that? Who am I? Who am I? Who the heck is that? Okay, this guy. Okay. Here's your go. Here's your go. What was I thinking? I was thinking about something along the lines of there's like 3 noodles that want to stay married to Jim. And then I think there's 4 that don't. Does that mean I don't want to be married? Maybe, because it's obviously majority rules, right? But I don't listen to the majority rules when the stronger desires, even though there's only 3 of them that want to, they're the stronger noodle in the head. The other 4 are meeker, and they're smaller, and they're not as strong. So I listen to them sometimes, like a really one strong one that really almost outweighs all the other 3, almost. You understand what I'm saying? I know you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm just crazy. And if I didn't talk to myself on video, you realize I wouldn't really talk to myself, right? But the talking to myself is what's really created this boom, 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 neurons firing back and forth, and all of these tulpas and melters and conversations to be happening all at once, and the noodles are starting to like integrate and form and create this beautiful mind of, wow, what's going on with her though? I'm kind of scared to Marco Polo my aunts. It's been a while since I've Marco Poloed my aunts, and I'm kind of afraid that I'm going to talk like this in front of them. Or I'm afraid I'm going to deny my true self in front of them. Like I'll mirror what I think they want, and I don't want to do that anymore. Because if you notice, like go back to like April 26th, I think it was. If you go back to April 26th, oh, shh. Okay, if you go back to April 26th, you may see, think, what were you going to do? What were you going to do? What were we going to do? I was hungry. Hungry? Why were we hungry? Hold on. We were hungry for something. What were you hungry for? Noodles. No, you're not hungry for noodles. You were just talking about noodles. But yeah, I thought noodles would sound good. Okay, so you want to cook some noodles? Or do you want to eat some noodles? Both. I want to eat both. Oh my gosh. Okay. What was I saying? My aunts. Okay, go back to April 26th. If you go back to April 26th, you may see, oh gosh, Crystal, stop it. What did you say? April 26th. If you go back to April 26th, you may see there's separate videos, a lot of videos for April 26th to separate people. They're all different Marco Polos. Go to April 26th, you'll see separate Marco Polos to separate videos. Okay, so when you're watching them, do you notice a difference in the noodles? Do you notice a difference in how I talk, in how I speak, in how I feel, in my opinions? If we were talking about just one opinion, if you're talking about just one opinion, they may be really concise and you would be like repetitive, redundant. And maybe we all do this of some sort. Maybe we all kind of camouflage ourselves just a little bit to match the person that we're talking to. But do you change who you are? Do you change who your fundamentals, cores are? If you go back to April 26th, you will hear me talk about my mom and her alcoholism and what it's affecting me like, and my compassion to one person versus my anger about my mom getting drunk when I talk to another person, or maybe my self-pity when I talk about it to another person, or maybe my frustrations or my sympathy or my judgments, or like I feel like there's so many different noodles on that day that I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to be this many different noodles when I talk to this many different people, or am I just supposed to be one noodle and be consistent across the board? It really just depends on who you get when you talk to me and who I think you want me to be. I feel like my noodles have the people that they like to talk to. I've got a noodle that likes to talk to my grandpa. I got a noodle that likes to talk to my Aunt Dolly. I got a noodle that likes to talk to my Aunt Di. I got a noodle that likes to complain with my Aunt April, and I had to cut her off because that noodle in her was just not doing good for us, right? And I got a noodle that likes to talk to my mom, and I got a noodle that likes to go talk to my husband, and I got a noodle that likes to talk to myself. You know what? We all like to talk to ourselves. That's not always. Sometimes we don't think it's helpful. Sometimes we do think it's helpful. Like right now, I'm supposed to be taking a call. I'm supposed to be cooking some noodles. I'm supposed to be taking a drink. I'm supposed to be going to the bathroom. Oh my gosh, why am I so stressed? So I still feel like I'm having these reactions and these meltdowns that are like this war in my head. The war in my head is creating me to have these sort of symptoms, and I haven't really fully functionally understood what's going on with me, except for maybe the only change that's happened is I'm embracing the separation of the noodles. Before, they were all kind of jumbled up, and the dark ones were hidden, and I wouldn't acknowledge them, and they would poke out and scream and cause me to like confusion and pain in these sporadic moments. And now I just have consistently confusion and pain when they are separated and visible, and they're exploited, and they're explored, and they're expressed. Maybe those are do I really mean all 3 of those EX words? Yes, I guess I do. Because I do exploit my hidden ones now, and I do explore my hidden ones now, and I do express my hidden ones now. And it's really interesting that I'm allowing these hidden ones to come out, and the stress that it's causing on my system is crazy. Like it feels like I'm kind of going crazy, where I have felt like I've been going crazy for years, but it really feels like the crazy is now starting to look obvious. The crazy is really starting to look like I can't handle shit. But we're actually happier than ever before because everyone's being able to be expressed. Every one of us is able to go to the podium and talk to the city town hall and say what we think we should say and be who we think we should be. And right now we must feel like we should be talking crazy like and pacing back and forth instead of taking calls for work. But then consequences might happen if we don't just shut up. So maybe the podium needs to be closed right now. We need to work for the next hour on work. And if we work for the next hour on work, we can express ourselves later. Thank you, Orange. Thank you, Kita. Orange, Kita, Orange, Kita, Kita, Orange, whatever you are. Thank you. Thank you for shutting it down. We're going to go back to work now. So Kita's in charge. Kita's the host. Kita's got to do this shit because we feel like we're kind of going crazy, and Kita's the one that's going to keep things under wraps. She's the observer. She's the one that has no emotion. She's not trying to be cold. She's just got to keep her shit under wraps. Really, that's all it is. So we'll let Kita be in charge. Pass it over to you now, Kita. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to work now. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
You and she's so much in love with you and blah blah blah. She doesn't want. I say these in my own head to help correct that negative thought.
Mm-hmm. It's what they call challenging those negative thoughts.
Exactly. So if you don't have things written down because you can't come up with them, you need to have like your crystal Bible for your doodles to go back to and say.
My quotes, right?
Your quotes, but at the same time, it's, I don't want to say a checklist, but in some cases there are, I think, points and times where you need to have those checklists. Like with myself, my checklist. She loves me.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said it.
It's a good idea.
To check through those things, like when you're having a problem, he needs his time. I need to be patient. I need to allow him to have his time without being upset. Because those are all three triggering points that can trigger you if I say those things, or if that happens. Or he's allowed to make the facial expressions. He didn't make a verbal expression. He's came a long ways. Check mark. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you?
Because I have to do a lot of those things with you.
Can I tell you how moving into this room was super difficult for me? Because I have been so accustomed to taking your silent stuff and changing them into hateful things you're saying to me. I'm so accustomed to that. But when you helped me move all this stuff in here, when I first moved in here, you were very silent. And I took your actions and your silence as hateful, yelling at me, right? And it was so difficult. And the way I was able to get through that was he didn't throw away my stuff like Jeremy did. He didn't even throw my stuff in here. He was very respectful with my things. He wasn't yelling at me. He didn't push me out. Like I was having to talk myself off the ledge, so to speak, because however you handled it, you may have been feeling things, but it wasn't as hateful in my head as I was changing them to. You were very loving in your transition to me moving in here, even if it was the hardest thing that you and I were both going through. It wasn't, he's not kicking me, he's not screaming at me, he's not pushing me out the door, he's not calling me names, he's not, those are the I was reacting as if you were. Does that make sense? And I had to Crystal, you're overreacting. He's not saying these things. He's not doing. Do you know what I'm saying? And even when you just gave me those raised eyebrows and you just gave me a look and you walked away, I translated that into all these negative words and things that you weren't doing, and came back and yelled at you like you did him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like you said, if I had a checklist to say, he gets to have his moment, he gets to have his time right now, he gets to have a raised eyebrow, he's not yelling at me, he's not kicking me, he's not pushing me out, he's not calling me names, he's not trying to control me, and he's not turning off my internet, he's not, you know what I mean? You could do so much more than those raised eyebrows, and yet I was reacting as if you were doing more. My reaction doesn't match your actions. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.